I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cindy.
And we're here with another Feeding Frenzy for the 40-day prosperity plan. And we're on day 38.
Almost done.
Wasn't it about this time when we got a great big surprise?
It was, wasn't it?
So be on the lookout. You never know.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? My consciousness of the Spirit within me as my unlimited source is the divine power to restore the years the locusts have eaten, to make all things new, to lift me up to the high road of abundant prosperity. This awareness, understanding, and knowledge of Spirit appears as every visible form and experience that I could possibly desire. What does that say to you today? Day 38.
I've had so many things going on lately, that I've got to. I've really leaned on this one in particular, knowing that some of the hard decisions that I've had to make, I have to lean on, knowing that God's got this. I don't have all the answers, and I can't see past sometimes my own feet, but I know that I do the best that I can do with what I know, and in order to keep from just dwelling on it, and I could really easily become depressed over it without knowing that God's got this, and however it turns out is how it's supposed to be. Then I could very easily let it just overtake me, So I've really had to lean on this one hard to know that however things turn out, that's the way it's supposed to be. And as long as I'm thinking as my higher self, from my higher self, then there's no way to do it wrong.
Good for you.
It's just a choice.
Good for you.
It's just a choice.
Very good.
And then I know, having made a decision from that space, that I cannot truly lose anything.
That's good. It just hit me is some things were never ours to begin with. And when we try to hold on to them, if they're not ours, then it just hurts worse. Wow. That's good stuff. Yeah. That old saying, if you really love something, let it go. And if it comes back, it was yours. That's good. Some things were just never ours. It's easier to let them go in the long run.
So what does it mean for you today?
I have a lot of the same things going on, Obviously I'm not as close to him as you are, but I just have to believe in everything we do, and regardless of the choices we make, that God's in it somehow, and that God's leading us to those decisions.
Well, you've got them, if you don't mind me saying it, and if you do, you can cut this out. But you're now on the other side of one of those major decisions. And you made one of those major decisions regarding letting your daughter live with your mom. And now that your mom has passed away, you're now on this side of that decision. So where this is concerned, about the years the locusts have eaten, and being from the high road, now that you're looking back on it, what can you say about the decision that you made then?
It was one of the best decisions I ever made, even though it was one of the hardest ones I made in the time, because at the time I didn't know my mom was sick. I thought she was going to live many, many more years. And if I had forced Mallory to stay with me, then they would have missed out on that time together. And my mom would have been much lonelier in her later days, and Mallory wouldn't have been there to take care of her. Even before we knew she was sick, when she was having trouble. And I think it's something that has caused Mallory and I to be much closer now than we would have been otherwise.
Even though you were separated?
Even though we were separated for, a year or more. At the time, I felt like I was losing out on part of her childhood. But if I had forced her to come with me, we would be fighting like cats and dogs right now. Because she would always hold that against me. And I feel like it was hers to do. And when it comes to our children, one of the things I've learned is that they know more about what they need than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to, I'm not saying don't be a parent. I'm just saying that trust their guidance like I trust mine. And you can tell the difference when it's their guidance and when it's them just wanting to do something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
if they're wanting to do something stupid, they'll let it go a little easier than if it's really something their guidance is pushing them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, she was not willing to let that go. Even when I told her I didn't think that was best, she still fought for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same when my son wanted to live with his dad way back. You know, he fought for it. It wasn't just he was mad at me and wanted to go. He kept pushing for it. You know, even when I said, I don't want you to. He kept on and kept on. So I think they know what's best for them. Deep down, they know what's best for them. They understand their guidance probably better than we do.
Well, sure. Yeah.
I mean, probably better than we understand our own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a lot of cases, we teach them to not follow their guidance.
Isn't that
and
true?
to follow
Isn't
ours.
that true? Yeah.
Instead. And so I've really tried, especially since they were, 8 or 9 or so, to let them follow their own guidance and do their own thing. And as long as they're not doing anything illegal or dangerous, and even, I have to say, sometimes even those things, now that they're much older, I just have to let them go their own way, and just offer the little guidance that I have and let them learn to trust their own. It's a hard thing to do. But
So
it's
for
one of
this
the
one
best.
here, that sentence for me gives me hope. It gives me, it's almost like a promise that you're going to have the 20/20 vision after it's over. You're going to be able to see from the high road exactly what the plan was after.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
You
point.
know what I'm saying?
Because I can look back in my life and I can see exactly how even the things that were really tough choices have been some of the best things that have happened.
And even things that you perceived as a horrible thing or that you perceived as a wrong decision or whatever led you, when you look back on it, when you see it from the high road, so to speak, it doesn't look like wasted years or empty time or something that was lost, but simply something that was pruned or cut away in order to make
for my
the
best
path
interest.
straighter or in order to make a new path for you to get there sooner or quicker, or you just had to touch that experience before you could get to the...
And by the same token, I
where
can
you
see
are.
the things that I really pushed for, even though I felt led a different way,
Yeah.
caused me more wasted time or more trouble than I could have had if I hadn't pushed so hard for those things that really weren't mine to begin with.
So my point, I've had to make one of those hard decisions too, where allowing one of my children's guidance to override mine. Not to override my guidance, but to override my want. Let's put it that way, my wishes. This one here gives me hope in knowing that I don't see it now, and even though I'm going through the emotion of allowing them to have what's best for them, even though it hurts me, I know that once I get to that high road, or I'm ready to look at it in hindsight, I'm going to see that it's absolutely for the best for all of us involved. And it won't be years that are wasted, and I won't see it as time that the locusts have eaten.
Right.
You know, I'm going to see it as a period of growth for them and for me. And so that gives me hope in knowing that the hard decisions I make now are not going to look like wasted ones or bad decisions.
Good, good. All right, I'm going to switch it with good now, okay? My consciousness of the good within me as my unlimited good is the good to restore the years the locusts have eaten, to make all things new, to lift me up to the good of abundant prosperity. This awareness, understanding, and knowledge of good appears as every visible form and experience that I could possibly desire. Does that help any?
It does. It just reminds me that when we look backwards, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
because it brought me here.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I'm in a low place here, it's still good because I have nowhere else to go but up.
Right.
And I'm going to learn from it as I go.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that just reminds me that it's all good.
Mm.
All of it.
Good. Okay, now joy. My consciousness of the joy within me as my unlimited joy is the joy to restore the years the locusts have eaten, to make all things new, to lift me up to the joy of abundant prosperity. This awareness, understanding, and knowledge of joy appears as every visible form and experience that I could possibly desire. Does that help?
It does. It does. It just like good, just reminds me that even in the moment when I'm not necessarily experiencing the joy of it, I will have joy from it later. Mm-hmm. It will be restored to me later.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As I look back and I see, you know what, this is what I've gained, even though I chose a different path. Just like you said with, your daughter and your mom, her living with her for a while. You've received now a greater joy with your daughter than you would have had you made a different decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Very good. Good stuff.
Very good stuff.
Extreme.